Hey, welcome everybody to our sixth AI in City. If you have not attended before any of these are quick, fast presentations on a tool or a way of using AI tools in order to support your teaching and learning. We have done already some different topics that help you create courses, that help you, set up some of your materials to facilitate student learning. We've talked a little bit about how some of the issues with AI can affect our work. And today, for this sixth presentation, we have our own Antoine Bean. He is our media specialist at the TLC, and he's going to be talking to us about how to use AI to create visuals. Without further ado, Antoine, take it on.
Thank you so much, Federico. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here and joining us here at the TLC with this edition of AI in 30. And today we're going to be addressing using AI to create visuals using visual storytelling when it meets next-gen tools, right? So we all know, this is me, Antoine Bean. I'm the media specialist here and at the Teaching and Learning Center. That's my email contact there if you want to get a hold of me there. And my phone number also if you have any questions after. Because to be honest with you, 30 minutes is a sweet spot for us. But I know that in things like this where we're breaking step-by-steps down, there will be questions. So if you have any, please send them to me. Reach out to me. We're more than happy to help you. And I will be more than happy to assist in anything you need with the visualization of that. We're only talking about pictures though. We're not getting into video. That's a whole nother beast and it's way more than 30 minutes. So we may try to eat that elephant one bite at a time later on, but for now, we're going to focus strictly on pictures, just still images, right? All right, so how many of you have ever found the perfect stock image only to realize that A, it costs money to get it, or it doesn't quite fit the tone really of what you're trying to project in your imagery, of what you're trying to teach or what you're trying to present? Well, that's the problem that we're going to face today. We're going to tackle that today. And some people spend hours, literally, you're looking at a guy who has literally spent hours looking for the perfect image to make work for presentations or for designs. Well, AI tools can now translate your text into professional, educated visuals. And to be honest with you, it just takes a few moments. This is going to freak you guys out when you start doing this stuff. It's really, really fast how quick this stuff can generate. In this session, we're going to look at two particular, kind of 2.5 particular tools, NotebookLM and primarily ChatGPT. And then, of course, for image generation, we'll use Canva as an example, but there are other alternatives that I will tell you about that could generate a little more richer images of what you're looking for. But a lot of people like to start at Canva. It's a great starting point, and it works, okay? Here are 2 takeaways that you are going to have right here. So you're going to need design. You don't need design skills. You just need really good ideas and smart tools. And it's really, you'll find that it's not really about the generation of the image. It's more about how to translate what to say or what to type or what to give the AI tool to produce the image that you need. So the prompting is really the key, and we'll get to that in a little bit. What's one idea or concept, number 2 here, is what's one idea or concept in your own teaching that could use a strong visual? So just think about that as you're utilizing AI to help produce some of these things that you're doing to create and generate what you need. So why do visuals matter? Well, a picture teaches faster than a paragraph would. That everybody knows that. And we all know that visuals do matter, but often they kind of take too long to find, for us to build if we have some sort of experience in it. It can be expensive because it takes programs to do it, and everybody doesn't have paid versions of stuff, and everybody doesn't have Adobe access and things like that. So it can get expensive, but that's where AI comes in. It can take the material you already teach and already know and already have, and it can help you give visualization to it. We have done in our research and found that over 400% better retention are with visuals that are improved by just having visuals instead of just telling people stuff. Pictures say 1,000 words, right? Then there's the faster learning component where students learn faster than they see the information and not just read it. And of course, it gives clarity. You know, graphics bring and pictures bring understanding to complex or procedural information. You know, it's like I said, it's easier to show something than to just tell you about it. So the challenge that we face is, as educators, we aren't designers, and that's okay. It's totally fine. Most of you know what to teach, but not always how to visualize it. And traditional design tools can take time and skill. And AI actually closes that gap. And with accuracy, speed, and accessibility, you'll find that AI doesn't replace your creativity, it simply amplifies it. It's like adding a supplement, a vitamin B plus, a B12 or something, and give you energy. Or, you know, if you want to, if you ride bikes, you get a better grade of bike as opposed to riding the one that you've been riding until the wheels fall off, you know? So something to talk about is, imagine trying to visualize an ethics principle or a molecular process, right? To the person that's trying to learn this stuff, that could be challenging to learn. Well, AI can interpret your text and describe a clean visual for it and be ready to design and ready to, you know, change, or you can add some things to it or change some colors or add some more visualization to it if you like. Or instead of spending hours online trying to find safe, accurate graphics, AI can actually build one in minutes. From lecture notes, from prompts, and other notes that you may have from quotes from books, or maybe a quote from a professor that you learned from a previous course or something like that, that you can like, oh yeah, I can incorporate that idea and put that in there and it can generate the prompt to get the responses and the visuals that you're looking for. So the AI building flow is where we're going to be. So there's an AI building flow in this situation that goes from notes to visualization. And so this process outlines how AI tools can streamline the creation of powerful educational visuals, transforming raw text, simply just things that you're thinking, and putting out to try to create and cultivate something into compelling imagery. And it's 3 steps. The first is concept generation. And that's where Notebook LM comes in, which we will be utilizing. And it analyzes your text, summarizes your key ideas, and suggests potential visual structures. I know some people will probably hear this and say, well, why can't I just go to ChatGPT and just type what I want, blah, 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 blah. Well, sometimes Notebook LM will give you more of an analytical point of view of a way of seeing it. It gives you more text to use. ChatGPT kind of, if you notice, it kind of gets to the point sometimes. It kind of cuts through the chase. But sometimes the designer prompts, they want you to be elaborative. And Notebook LM actually does that very well. So with prompt crafting, ChatGPT can streamline what Notebook LM has made. And it takes these concepts and refines them into a precise, detailed image, prompting for AI art generators, right? So we're going to use Canva as an example, but you can use this also in Adobe Firefly. You can use this in Wall-E. You can use this in Midjourney. But like I said, we're going to only tackle Canva for now. Visual creation tools like Canva will use these prompts to generate high quality, relevant educational visuals. And you can imagine that you upload a lecture note, and then you can take Notebook LM to summarize it. It can identify those key steps and even suggest how it could be visualized. And that gives you instant direction of how to create the prompts in ChatGPT. before you even get to Canva. And then once ChatGPT gives you the streamlined version of it, then you can go to Canva, put it in, or Firefly, etc., and watch it work. Let's go to Notebook LM first, step one. From notes to visual concepts, we start with the notes that you already have. So there are 4 steps here. The first one is you upload your content. You upload your lecture notes, syllabus sections, slides, article, or PDF, or even straight to Notebook LM, or even like thought pattern notes, like things that you just think of on the fly, bullet points type stuff. You can do that. You can use that and it can work for you. Number 2, you have to identify the key ideas or takeaways. So you can ask, summarize this document into 3 key ideas that could be represented visually that students must remember. So once it does that, you enter your document first. Of course, you have to build your notebook with the lecture or with the speech or the PDF or whatever you submit to it. Then you ask it this question, this statement. You give it this command of summarizing it, right? And number 3, you choose visual formats. So you ask for each key concept to suggest the best visual format, photo, diagram, or infographic. Now, that to me is optional, and I put that in there because if you want to get very detailed and finite, that's a way to do it. But with this section, you can kind of craft this as you will, right? Because you may have an idea of what you want the format to look like or to be. So you can put that in that space, in that step number 3. And step number 4, generate descriptions. So write 1-sentence image description for each idea. You can ask Notebook LM to do that for you. So it can kind of give you like in the summary form of that 1 sentence. Because sometimes it can be a little exacerbating and just kind of, it can give you almost a paragraph, something that you're asking for. It gives you almost too much information. So you can ask it to kind of, streamline that a bit. Now, the pro tip for Notebook LM is that it helps you think visually before you design. So this is kind of like the sifting process of getting the words right. So you can be ready for ChatGPT so we can be direct with its streamlined approach. So this is it just kind of vets everything out and gets all of the fluff out. So with Notebook LM, I'm not sure if everybody has it, but if you do have it, and please know that I'm going to be having this presentation available after. So if you want to go back and look at the steps that I use, because I know 30 minutes, because we're already 13 minutes in. So I won't get too deep into the step-by-step stuff because we'll be here literally for the afternoon having fun with this stuff. But what I'll do is I will have these PNGs available for you to download, and you can look at and you can try it step-by-step at your leisure, and you can test it out, see how that works for you. Okay, but I'll just walk us through this. Now, if you're watching it, feel free to try it on your computers and test this out as we go. Okay, but we're gonna walk through this here. So step 1, upload or paste content. So I just used an example of the chain of infection, which is a study, right? So it's a copy of a short excerpt from an idea that just kind of gathered and put together. So you paste this directly into your Notebook LM, which is this statement that you're seeing here. So chain of infection describes the process by which infectious diseases are transmitted from one host to the other, etc. So you just copy this and you put that into your Notebook LM. Okay, from here, when you ask for your visual summary, you can prompt to type into Notebook LM this sentence. And just basically what you would want, your next step of questioning would say, summarize this passage into 3 core teaching ideas that could be represented visually for a nursing or public health class, right? Because that's I'm just using that as an example of the class, but you can, formulate your class and input, etc. And so the expected response or close to the expected response will be one of these 3 results that you see at the bottom. So from here, you go to step 3, which is you can ask to generate this prompt here for each of these ideas, suggest the most effective visual format. And then that's where you get into the idea of making a visual out of it. So if you saw, you got the text outlined in the first two steps. Now you're moving to the third step, which is you're kind of prompting it to move to the idea of creating a visual for the text that you created. And so for each of these ideas, you suggest the most effective visual format, and then you can say diagram, photo, chart, or infographic, right? Which NotebookLM is really good at describing these. So the expected responses would be below. You see those 3 points there. Circular flow diagram, highlight overlay, or an icon-based checklist, right? So that's what it can create there. So then you move on to the fourth step by asking for the images. And so you put in the prompt, write 1 sentence image description for each idea suitable for AI image generation. That's important to say for AI image generation because it doesn't know what you're going to do with it. It doesn't know where it's going to go from there. So by you saying suitable for AI image generation, that means it can go to Canva, it can go to Firefly, it can go to Midjourney, and things like that. So once it sees that, it'll like, okay, gotcha. I know what to say here. So here's the idea expected outputs and examples that it could give in this scenario here. So it was like a clean circular diagram showing 6 connected icons, or nurse breaking one of the link chains labeled with infection stages, etc. So it gives you 3 scenarios there. Okay, now here with step 5, you could ask for accessibility. So the prompt that you would put for that is you want to make it a little more clear. So give me other forms, give me another alt text or another way that I can ask this or request this so the image is accessible for visually impaired learners. So in other words, give me options here. If there are other alternate texts that I can submit, the first one may not be the one that I'm looking for or you're looking for. So if you have other alternatives of what you can reword these prompts and do that, that way ChatGPT can have something else to work with, not just one variation, because you don't want to just put all your eggs in one basket. So you want to be able to have alt text to be able to kind of say, well, this is close, but I may need a little bit more to this. Then here are other versions. It will produce other alt text for you to submit. And so in minutes, NotebookLM will give that as you saw, we went from a paragraph literally into a storyboard of 1 sentence of what the actual design could be so it can move on to the next step, which is ChatGPT. All right, so ChatGPT, this is where the fun began. So ChatGPT, from concepts to image prompts, you can turn these ideas into image prompts that are powerful to describe what NotebookLM has given us. And then once ChatGPT gets it, it can really streamline it and give it a language set for that design AI. And we'll get to that in a moment. Because the idea is you want to be able to speak the designer's language. The designer language, in this case, being Canva or Midjourney, or again, someplace like Gamma or something, which we'll also talk about Gamma also. All right, so paste description. Here's the steps, at 5 of them. Paste description. We paste one of your NotebookLM image descriptions in ChatGPT. We're doing one at a time because the thing about ChatGPT is, as we all know, it'll overthink, or it will combine things or suggestions that we do. Well, we don't want that if we're trying to get certain images clear cut as we want them. So you want to do them one at a time, as opposed to doing them in a batch. You could give the prompt to say, hey, can you give me separate prompts for each one of these lines or each one of these descriptions, and that's fine. But I've seen in my experience that when I do that, it always merges. The chat always kind of puts it all together in some or basket it in a way, and it just doesn't work for me. But I like to do them separately. So you paste one of your NotebookLM image descriptions, and then you ask to generate the prompt by saying, turn this idea into an AI prompt, and in this case for Canva, includes style, tone, and composition. So you're speaking the language of a designer here. And so once it does that, you can request the variations because you, like I said, you don't want to get just one image. So once you request those descriptions, you want to get different descriptions. So you ask for 3 variations. And in this case, it's realistic, icon-based, and infographic, because you may decide that, you want to have options. So you may change your mind as far as the aesthetic, or you might want to give more information on certain parts of your presentation, or you want the graphic to really pop in a way. So by you having 3 different versions of your prompt and creating 3 different descriptive narratives, then you have 3 different images. So that works. So you want to, now this is optional as well, but it's customizable. But what I mean by customizable for UTHSC is because while us being here at UTHSC, they have certain colors that they use, orange and green and grays and whites. And you might want to flow with how the aesthetic with the school is and stuff like that. But you may have a personal brand if you're into that kind of thing that you might want to use for your class, or a certain kind of style that you may want it to look like. So you can customize it for that. That's kind of optional, if you will, or you can kind of let the computer decide, or how with the color pattern and things like that. But customization is fun and it's available, and you can actually do that in these steps. And lastly, you can add alt text, again, having more options. You can put write alt text for this image for accessibility and things like that. Okay. Well, this matters because you're becoming a creative translator, and it's stretching you to be able to describe what is necessary for you to type, for you to create these prompts, to get a language with, even if you have built a bot, it can help build that language for that. So as you go on with it, you're able to not only speak the language of the software you're using. You're not only having to, it develops a style for you. So especially if you're using bots here, it actually can adapt to what you're asking for. So in the future, it'll say, hey, do you want this like you had it last time? Or would you like this to be in the same color palette, etc. So it's always good to develop that. And again, it's like learning a new language. So it helps you develop and understand the designer's language. Okay, so this was something that I did earlier. It's a prompt. This is a prompt demonstrating how ChatGPT can translate complex medical information into a structured infographic concept, complete with headlines, sections, and visual cues before we even go to the design tool. So I did the process, and I put my idea in Notebook LM, came here to ChatGPT, and I asked to design an infographic concept for a poster that teaches medical students the difference between bacteria and viruses, based off of my chain deal that I did, chain infections that we did or talked about earlier. Suggest a headline, 3 sections with brief text, and visual icons for each part. And so this is the picture that it came up with. It came up with that. When I got that prompt from ChatGPT, I submitted it in Canva, and that's what it gave me. It gave me this. So as you can see, I have bacteria up here, and then it's got little flow charts here, little numbers and things like that, viruses. So bacteria and viruses, it gave it to me. And so that's what it gave me. So it's something, as you can see, it's what I was looking for, because I wanted it to be on the screen, and it had the colors that I wanted and things like that. It works. So that's what it did. ChatGPT builds layout and structure before you launch into Canva. So I know that was I skipped ahead, but I just wanted to put that picture there to show you what the ChatGPT prompt produced when I did that. Okay, so with the ChatGPT example, this is an example, starting point prompt that I got from Notebook LM. So remember earlier we talked about how it's streamlined from a paragraph to a sentence? Well, this is the sentence. Nurse breaking one link of a metallic chain labeled with infection stages symbolizing prevention. That's the sentence that it came up with out of that paragraph. And then from there, I put it in ChatGPT and I asked it to turn this idea into a detailed prompt for an AI image generator, like Canva Magic Media. And I asked it to include composition, lighting, camera angle, diversity, and a brand tone. And I asked it also to incorporate the UTHSC green, which in this case, this is the number coded number for this color. You don't have to be that specific, but it recognized that as an accent color, academic photography style, and ensure clinical accuracy. Also, give me an alt text for accessibility. So this is what it came up with. This is the prompt that ChatGPT gave me. It was a healthcare professional wearing protective gloves and scrubs stands in a bright hospital hallway, holding a silver chain where one link glows green and breaks apart, symbolizing infection prevention, clean lighting, shallow depth of field, modern academic tone, emphasis on hygiene and safety. And it gave me the alt text, which is nurse in hospital hallway breaking the silver chain with glowing green link labeled infection prevention, illustrating how breaking the chain stops disease spread, right? So that's what it did. It gave me the prompt to put into Canva, and it gave me an alt text to use in case I want to get even more detailed from that prompt. So ChatGPT transformed that Notebook LM paragraph to that sentence into a complete designer brief with lighting, tone, even accessibility text, becoming a creative translator. So you could paste this right into Canva and generate teaching ready results. You can put that prompt right now in there. So let's move on to Canva then. So we're bringing the teaching visual to life. So the goal is to show how to take the ChatGPT generated prompt and instantly produce a ready-to-use teaching visual with Canva, for example, or any of these visual mediums, like I said, Midjourney, or even if you want to use Firefly and Adobe. So you would open, now this is a six-part step. It's a bit detailed, and like I said, you're going to have a copy of this. So, but I'm just going to run through it really quick because I know time is short. So you just open Canva and select the tool, and then you navigate to Canva to open the Magic Media tool, or in this case, Canva AI. So you can click Canva AI. If you have Canva, it's to the left on your screen. You just click Canva AI. It's a little square, says AI. You just click on that. And then from there, it asks for the prompt. And you just paste the prompt, copy and paste the prompt from ChatGPT that you made, and you put that there in that request. And from there, it will generate. And so you allow it to produce, and then it produces that image for you. And so from there, you can add the brand touches. So once you see that first generation of what it made, if you want to change some things, you can request change the color or change the height of the person if they're standing next to other people or things like that. You can be very specific in how you want to do that. You can also write the alt text. So you can create the descriptive alt text following the who, what, and the purpose structure for accessibility, right? You can do that as well. And of course, you can export and integrate it into your finished work. So Canva is really where AI meets the design. It takes the words that you created and produced, and it gives you an image, right? And so that's the end result of that. So to recap really quickly, and then I have something for y'all, to the live demo plan recap is to upload the text, to upload a short text policy, process, or definition in Notebook LM, and then show Notebook LM summary and visual suggestion, move it over to ChatGPT and paste that there and generate 3 visual prompts to be able to put in your image generator, and then copy one of them at a time into your visual generator, Canva in this case, and it produces the results you need. Just little points to remember and to keep in mind as you're doing this. Always provide alt text and captions for every image. Like I said, you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket when it comes to your descriptions. and also your ideas for what you want to say in your prompt or produce. Because if you just use one and just go with that, then you'll have all your eggs in one basket. You have to start over. You don't want to do that. So I have other alternate versions of what you want to, to create. Avoid real people if you can. Don't try to use celebrities or people that you know or things like that. You want to just allow the image generator to create certain people for you and to do that. Don't use, of course, with HIPAA, you can't use patients. So don't try to make a AI generated people out of patients and stuff like that. And so also be descriptive. Use descriptive language to get the results you need. You can really stretch with your imagination, guys. Like you can really pour out what you want this to look like and really get detailed. I know people who are into every finite thing, like color of the pants, color of the shirts, if there's a sky, what type of weather is it? I mean, it's very descriptive how you can get with this. And you can verify the content. That's another thing, because of course we walk with integrity. So verify all scientific and procedural content. AI assists your teaching, but it doesn't validate your facts. So that's important to remember that. And of course, like I said, you'll have a copy of this, so you'll be able to copy, paste, and teach. And here's some examples of 5 prompts that you can just kind of try and test out that I put in here. And I also have a PDF that you're going to have walking you step by step through the entire process. Also, that'll be down. You can download that as well. But here's just some 5 prompts that I generated that streamlined from a Notebook LM to ChatGPT that you can kind of, expand on and really make this, work for you and test your language, and your imagination and your description of what you're looking for and try to do and just sharpen your iron. All right, so here's the wrap up here. So we have to remember the role of each part of this. Notebook LM, it clarifies what to show. ChatGPT defines how to show it, and the visual brings it to life. Like I said, Canva, Firefly, Midjourney, etc. So your call to action is you pick a topic from your syllabus this week. Use Notebook LM to extract its key visuals and ChatGPT to build the image prompts, and share your first AI-generated teaching graphic with us. Send it to me. Send it to me at the TLC here, and I will be the first to celebrate your creativity. And you can connect with me, as I said, on abean@uthsc.edu, or you can give me a call. Like I said, I know this was a lot. This was a mouthful. This was a lot to eat, a lot to swallow. But let's keep creating smarter together. Let's do it. So thank y'all so much. Back to you, Federico.
Thank you, Antoine. And thank you all for joining today. I am going to post on the chat the next TLC webinar that it's coming next week, following up on some of the things that Antoine just said and that we've been presenting with this AI in 30. It's a webinar on academic integrity and artificial intelligence in these what some call the post-plagiarism era. That could be next week, and you have the link for signing up here. I hope that you can join us for that. We will have our last AI in 30 for this session on early December, and we will be addressing how to use some of these tools for supporting student learning specifically. Have a great day. Enjoy. We will stay here if you got some questions right now. But we always keep the recording until this point. So have a great day, and join you and see you later.